Yeah, got it. Hi, everybody. Hi, it's so exciting to join you. So my name's Avital, or Pascale Avital, depends if I'm in Israel, they call me Avital, but otherwise my given name is Pascale. But anyway, so I was invited to speak about the way that I present my food. Well, actually, Clara, my good friend Clara, was really taken by the way that I present food. I'm really inspired by Japanese type of culture. And so I would like to show you how I make a bento, because I think it's a really beautiful way to present like a meal. And I have all the different components, which I've given you recipes for. You have those, Clara? The recipes I've given you. So I've prepared some things in advance, because otherwise it would just take too much. And also Sunday is my prep day, when I prepare for my whole family, like what I'm going to put in the lunch boxes. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and show you how I make bento boxes, different types, and what I would put in, what I'm putting in this week, and how I make it look really beautiful, because essentially I think that we do eat with all of our senses, and the way that it looks is very, very important. The way that it entices us to eat, it's a whole sensory thing. So we have different textures, different flavors, sweet, sour, salty, and savory. Anyway, I just want to get on with it and show you how we do it. Okay.
And I will include the recipes when I send out the video recordings of all the talks. I'll include your recipes.
Awesome, awesome. I just wanted to say, by the way, this is the first time that I'm presenting live. Like I do lots of like workshops when I go to people's homes, and it's very much like I teach them how to cook certain things. And I'm very much inspired by Japanese cuisine. Again, as I said, I studied Japanese in high school, and I visited there, and I have a big love for that place and its culture and food. So I keep kosher, and in Israel, where I live, the way that I share that is I bring like as authentic as I can Japanese type of food that I learned while I was in Japan, and I give that to the people who also keep kosher like me. But in the framework of Macrobiotic, which is like why I'm here now, it fits perfectly. So of course I'm keeping entirely macro. And I'd just like to say that if anyone wants to just kind of talk or give me questions as I go along, I'd really love that, to make it less kind of formal so that I don't feel so nervous, because I'd love to just have a conversation and cook with you. Is that all right with everyone?
I invite anyone, open up your speakers if you like, go ahead and ask your questions, and let's do interactive.
I'd love to have an interactive conversation type of situation where I'm showing you what I'm doing and you're talking to me, and there we are. Yeah? Okay. So first, I have different components that I'll show you. Can you see me clearly, by the way?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And all the things, brilliant. So I want to construct the items with you, but I've pre-cooked the items so that it's easy to kind of go ahead through it. One of the things that are on the recipe cards are that I'm going to do now are the onigiri, which I love onigiri. They are rice balls, and it's basically soul food in Japan. Like your mom makes it for you, your grandma, and you go to their house and they make your onigiri, and you put it in a bento. I mean, it's the most natural thing to take with you when you're going somewhere. So today I'm going to make an onigiri that's filled with something a little bit less traditional, but kind of still. So we have some white miso, shiro miso, and I've actually juiced almost a full orange and taken the zest as well. And I have shredded some carrot, which I've roasted and slightly caramelized, because it gives that lovely kind of lovely flavor, caramelized. And I have some gomasio. So the first thing I wanted to do is to combine the miso paste with the juice and zest of the orange.
How much miso is that?
Around 2 tablespoons.
Mm.
And it's going to make a kind of more liquidy paste, basically. And it'll taste very nice. It's very complementary. I find that miso, white miso, goes really well with sweeter type of flavors because it's so mellow. So I'm combining that.
The person who just asked, the recipes will be sent later.
Oh, okay.
Be able to see it, the exact amounts.
Although the measurements, I have to say, I kind of ad-lib it a little bit. I'm not one for very strict measurements. It's how I feel, how the things interact with me on the day. Sometimes things are more solid, more liquid. You don't see how the measurements that I give you and then make it feel right for you. That's what I think. Okay, so you see this kind of texture? It's a very loose paste, right? I actually, in my recipe, I've written to place that inside the rice ball and then to add the carrot. But I also think it's very, very nice if you just put the carrot immediately into that miso paste because it just kind of mixes together very nicely. So we're going to do that right now. Okay. I'm going to go and get my rice.
For anybody who's in Israel, she lives in Jerusalem.
I do. In the really lovely neighborhood of Baka, which is so full of plants right now. I'm in heaven when I step outside and the smells of all these flowers. And I love that. I came from London and I didn't have that where I lived in London. It's such a revolutionary, amazing thing. This is just some genmai. So it's brown rice that's been soaked and then cooked. And there's nothing added to it. It's just, oh, I do actually put a little piece of kombu when I cook it. But other than that, that's it. No salt, no nothing. So I'm going to take just a little bit of water and some rice vinegar inside that water, which is the mixture that I use to just put on my hands so that when I handle the rice, it doesn't stick and go all over the place into an awful mess, hopefully. So just
Pascale,
yes,
when you were living
yes.
in Japan, you had access to how many different kinds of rice? 50 different kinds of rice?
I did not live in Japan. I visited for a few months and I stayed with different host families who were so kind to show me their own home cooking. And it really sparked my love for Japanese food and culture and the sharing. It's such an expression of love to eat food there. I mean, it is in pretty much every culture, isn't it, really? But how many types of rice? I don't know. There's so many different types. And there's also the fresh rice when it's freshly harvested, which is a bit more gummy and delicious. I wish I could get that. So I've taken like a handful, well, a very small handful. I'm not going to make really big onigiri, just kind of smallish ones. And I'm going to flatten the
rice
ball.
vinegared water.
That's what she puts on her hand, so it doesn't stick.
I don't want to really add any water, any extra moisture to the rice so that it becomes too loose. It's really just to avoid the stickiness, which still occurs to some extent. But anyway, so I'm compressing it, okay? Because brown rice is less sticky than white rice, obviously, because it has a hull on it, so it sticks less. So you're going to compress it a little bit and make an indent with your finger, and then take a little bit of the filling inside. Okay, that's my fingers. And we're going to put some more rice on the top.
Then seal it.
Yeah, exactly. Then we're going to work it into a kind of ball. Okay. And then, so I have nori, the roasted seaweed sheet, I'm sure you're all very familiar with. And I've taken one standard sheet and cut it into 4 strips. So I find that this is a really good size and width for this type of onigiri. And I'm just going to wrap it like this. I actually forgot to put my gomasyo, so we're going to put that on. Just use my hands.
In Japan, they have the most amazing contraption where the rice ball is not connected to the nori. You take out this plastic thing so that the nori stays crisp. I no idea how you could do.
There is doing that. There is. So I have made some gourmandise right here, which I also put the recipe for, by the way, but in case you don't know how to do it. But it's whole sesame seeds which have been roasted in the pan until they're nice and fragrant and start popping a little. And then I put them in the suribachi with a little bit of coarse sea salt and grind it into a kind of semi-powder, I would say. It's still nice to have some texture of the seeds. And I like to put that on. It adds salt and it adds an earthiness, a nuttiness rather, from the sesame seeds. So.
And Pascale, you did not use salt when you cooked the rice.
No, I absolutely didn't. No, I put a piece of kombu inside the rice.
Right.
Kombu releases natural glutamic acid, which is a flavor enhancer, and it's very lovely, but it's very, very subtle. So that's how I kind of pre-season the rice. It's pretty much the standard and traditional way of cooking the rice. The salt is always added after when you're seasoning, when you're adding whatever you cook on top of your rice or next to it. But rice is very much a revered food, so it's the purity and the grade of it is an important thing. So we wouldn't want to mask it with any extra salt or anything like that, like we would with sometimes when we cook basmati or whatever. So okay, so I'm actually going to make 4 of these lovely onigiri because we're making 2 different types of bento boxes, and each one will have 2 onigiri inside. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Does anyone have any questions or any comments or anything?
Do you have to wet the nori to make it stick, or it just sticks to the rice?
I find that there's not really a need. It sticks because this rice is warm and there's inherent kind of like humidity that rises into the nori. And if you add too much, it starts to shrivel up and curl and not be so nice.
Can you say about how much orange juice and about how much carrot you put into the?
Yeah. So it's around about 3/4 of an orange, a nice big Jaffa orange, a local, organic, beautifully grown Israeli Jaffa orange, because it's all about eating local. But yeah, a nice big orange, and about 3/4 of its juice went inside the bowl, and pretty much about 3/4 of its zest as well, and 1 whole large carrot that I shredded with a peeler because it makes lovely ribbons.
You shred it with the peeler and then you roast it?
Yes, I toss it in a bowl with some sesame oil, a little bit of sea salt so that it's all well covered. And I just spread it on a baking sheet in 1 layer, not overlapping. And then you just put it in the oven, maybe 10, 15 minutes on 200 degrees centigrade.
Great, thank you very much.
Of course, you're welcome.
Flavors must be amazing.
They are, and hope you make it and taste.
Oh, I will.
Pascale, I wanted to ask you about the kind of rice what you're using. I'm in Israel as well. I'm in north and it's Vat.
Yes.
What kind of shalom? What kind of rice are you using? White?
So I can tell you exactly where I go. It's brown, whole, round rice. It's from Zmora Organi that I find it. You know that? Do you have that shop up there? It's they have Whole Foods there, and it's very important to get this particular type of short grain rice rather than any brown rice that's long grain or so, because as I said, like it needs to stick together somehow, and the short grain has much more of kind of a sticky property, and yeah.
So just can you please repeat yourself? So it's a short brown rice, short.
Exactly, it's called round short grain brown rice, whole rice.
Whole rice. Okay, thank you.
Two.
Do you find yourself in the kitchen a lot?
Yes, I love cooking, and I have 3 lovely kids, and they love my food. So yeah, I also give kind of workshops. So I do have quite a lot of cooking that goes on. Also, inside onigiri, you can put really any filling that you like. I mean, if you like umeboshi, that's a very, very traditional filling. It's the pickled plum. I have some here actually to show you. And it's very nice because the rice is not seasoned. It's nice to put something that has quite a strong flavor in the middle. Okay, 3 down, 1 to go.
I look forward to making these.
Yes.
Question here from Rebecca. Are you putting the carrot miso filling inside the rice
Yes.
before packing it into a roll?
So maybe I'm not showing clearly enough because of the camera, but essentially I'm making a flattened plain rice ball in the palm of my hand. I'm making an indent with my finger, and then I'm placing the mixture inside that indent and covering it up with more rice. And once it's a nice ball, I take my nori and I wrap it around.
Easy peasy.
If it stays together, it's great.
Hi, do you put the carrot in at the same time? I mean, you just stick
Yeah,
it
so
in
when
the
I
bowl?
made the miso paste mixed with the orange juice and the orange zest, I added my caramelized carrot inside there, the shreds of carrot that I created there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, hi, Pascal.
Hmm?
Yeah, what if you are trying to watch how much salt you eat? Where would you cut that out? Would you? I don't
Miso
know.
is very, very salty food.
Yeah.
Has a host of amazing health benefits, of course,
Yeah.
but it is very salty. So in that case, I would choose a different filling. You could definitely still roast the carrot and perhaps not add salt on it. Caramelized carrot has so much natural sweetness that comes out. You could do that. You could roast sweet potato and mash that and put that in the middle. Just alternate fillings. Anything that can be really kind of molded into a sort of paste and placed in the middle is ideal. You can even put roasted mushrooms or like mashed tofu, and you can season it to your needs. It's essentially like if you think about how in the West we have a sandwich, right? This is the Japanese version of a sandwich, and it's a real joy. So, okay, so I'm just going to show you guys the onigiri balls like this. Okay, I'll take this away. Going to keep my gomatsu.
Pascal, show it once more for the camera.
What would you like to see the onigiri?
Take a picture at the end, Binat.
One's falling a little, but these are the wrapped onigiri balls. Can you see?
Got it.
Okay. So the other thing that I wanted to do for the bento is these absolutely delicious oyster mushrooms, which I've roasted. They're very simple. Just wash them really thoroughly and put some tamari on them. And you can season if you want to add garlic. If you do eat garlic, put some on there. And just roast until they become lovely and just not too raw. Basically, they start to caramelize on the edges. That's when I know that they're ready, and they smell incredible. And very simply, I put these on a skewer.
Did you put any oil when you roasted those?
Yes, sesame oil. Yes, I did. They have a very meaty texture and flavor. It's very, very satisfying to eat these.
Yeah, and did you put them in the oven like at 200 for 20 minutes? Or?
I do pretty much everything on 200, so.
Yes.
Yeah, 200 for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
And it started to smell great and caramelize and
Is that the same? Is that centigrade? I know I sound crazy, but
great. Yeah.
okay. So we have a different one.
I know, right? So I can't work with Fahrenheit. I don't know it. But centigrade. So you have to do the conversion.
400-ish, maybe. I don't know.
I think
You know that,
180,
don't you?
I think 180 is 350, so somewhere around there.
Thank you. Thanks, Claire.
Okay. So I've made 3 of those. I'm actually going to place them on the things which are ready, and then we'll be able to assemble that and move that one.
What did you put? What's on the stick? I missed that.
Pardon?
The
What
mushrooms.
kind of mushrooms?
It's oyster.
Okay.
It's oyster. You can use any mushroom that you have. Really, it really works with all mushrooms. Shiitake is very, very nice for this. Oyster is probably my favorite mushroom, so that's why I go with that. It's also a nice long shape, which goes very, very nicely on a skewer. It's quite elegant, so that's why I put that. It's very important for me how food appears, and when it's all assembled, you'll see what I mean. And yeah, but you can, if you have a favorite, definitely go for that.
Would portobello work? Portobello mushroom?
Sure, just make sure that you cut it in a specific type of shape that would go nicely on a skewer, because then, because if you have, I'll show you the bento box in a minute. Okay, right. These ones I just wanted to show you. I've made the full recipe for these. They take a little time, and I make them ahead of time at the beginning of the week and put them in packed lunches. But because I have done that, I want to use them in today's demonstration, and I put the recipe for you to do. But they are korokke, which is basically croquettes, Japanese version of croquettes, and these are macro friendly, so they're made with sweet potato, brown rice flour. I put a little bit of yeast extract, which you may or may not want to use if you do eat that, but it has a lovely kind of cheesy nutty flavor. It adds a nice dimension and a contrast. So on the recipe, you'll see how to do it. It's very simply, you mash the sweet potato, steam the sweet potato in small chunks, mash it, add your seasonings. I put a little bit of freshly pounded garlic and a little bit of white pepper, which is mellower and not so spicy like black pepper. It doesn't have that kind of heat to it, but it has more of a smokiness, which is really lovely. It goes well with the taste of the nutritional yeast. So you mix it all up with, I put a finely cut shallot inside here. I find shallot a slightly, again, mellower type of onion to use, but you can use whatever you have at hand and whatever you prefer, of course. And then you fry it. I used a little bit of light sesame oil to fry it in on a medium heat until it was crispy. These are a good addition to the bento box because it's a texture that's different from the kind of like chewier kind of mushroom and the rice. It's a crispy kind of texture. It's nice. So now I'm going to make a slaw, which is very classic Asian salad, Japanese salad, I would say even, but it's used in all of the different Asian cultures in its own kind of incarnations. So I'm going to grab a bowl. In my slaw, it's very simple. I have Napa cabbage. I've already used the outer leaves in another dish yesterday, so I've got the center part and it tends to be more tender anyway, so it's all very tender and lovely. And I'm just going to shred it. I have some green onion right here, so I'm going to push it aside. And I'm just going to shred this Napa cabbage quite finely, as you would with any slaw.
Where did you find Napa cabbage in Israel, in Jerusalem?
In Shufasal. I think it's even grown locally.
Wow, and it's organic.
Yep.
Wow, thank you.
Supercell green. Yep. Most welcome. So I have here a carrot. I'm not actually making giant quantities, it's just for the sake of showing you what I'm doing, but I have here a carrot, which I'm going to get the peeler, and again, peel and cut, because I find that the easiest way to get really thin strips.
I have a peeler that peels it into strips.
Oh,
Look at it. I'll show you. Right, I'll show you.
well, that's really cool. I've scrubbed it, obviously, all the food here is pre-washed, but I've scrubbed it and I'm not taking the skin off.
Never thought of doing it that way.
And then what I do with that is I then take my knife and I just chop it. Just kind of,
I don't know if you could see this. Whoa.
can you see?
Um,
I'll move this out of the way perhaps.
Clara, bring a carrot to show us, because I don't quite get it.
I'll show
This
you.
has, with, Avital, this had, oh, why is it not showing? Here, this has ridges on it, so it cuts it into strips.
That's very cool.
Peels it and cuts it into strips same time.
I have to get myself those. Time saving. Amazing. I'm just adding the carrots to the napa cabbage. Right here.
Lara, bring a dozen from
Pardon?
Japan.
Pardon?
I tell Clara to bring a dozen of this Kelly from Japan.
Yes. I've got some green onion, which I've chopped here. I've got here some grated ginger and some minced garlic. If you don't have garlic or any of these things are too kind of strong for you, of course, omit them, but I find it's really a delicious way and it is the traditional way of doing it. So 1 clove of garlic and about the same quantity of garlic as of ginger as you would put for garlic. And I put that in here. Now we're going to dress this salad. I've got here some tamari, of course. I'm going to put, without measuring, but I'm going to tell you in advance, it's about 2 tablespoons.
I love that you don't measure.
How I feel on the day, you know. This is mirin, so about a tablespoon of mirin. And I have some toasted sesame oil, which is super tasty, and it gives a great taste. So we're going to put that on that.
I found a place in Tel Aviv where they sell roasted sesame oil.
Oh, nice. So I have my gomazio here, which contains salt. So I'm not going to add any extra salt to this salad because the gomazio has it inside. So 1, 2. I love sesame, so I put those in, but if you don't want that many, or if you want more, it's how you feel. Okay. Just going to mix that. Now, ideally, this salad should sit in the refrigerator for at least half an hour, because then the flavors really permeate. I actually forgot to put the rice vinegar. Here we go. Got some rice vinegar. About a tablespoon. Here we go. Now, I do actually grow shiso leaf, green shiso on my balcony. I don't have any at the moment, so I'm going to show you the alternative. And in fact, actually,
I'll go get some.
Oh, you'll go get some. Bring me some over, Sarah. Thank you.
I'll bring you over.
Amazing. So what I would suggest is a very similar flavor profile is to use mint and basil. And the great thing about mint and basil, of course, is that in this country, it's a very much thing that grows locally and you can find it very, very easily. So it's probably, you know, better, but it has a very similar flavor profile to add. So I'm going to add some basil and some mint, nana, as we call it here. And I'm going to very finely kind of slice it and mix it in.
Mm.
But if you have shiso, you have access to homegrown shiso, I really recommend that. It has a slightly different taste to this, but this is as close as you'll get.
Anybody wants in Jerusalem, just let me know.
Laura, you gifted me some seeds and some baby plants. Amazing.
Clara, can you bring some for me next time I come on the 9th?
Yes, yes. But you have to plant it. I'll give it with the dirt.
So I'm not so great with tracking time. How are we doing?
Officially 12 minutes and unofficially
What?
plus.
We've
Another
we've
half hour.
had 12 minutes or?
12, 15, 20.
Okay, brilliant. That's perfect. We're on track then. Okay, so I've mixed this up. Ideally, I would put this in a nice jar, seal the lid, put it in the refrigerator, minimum of half an hour, even better 2 hours, and then the flavors really permeate into that cabbage and become wonderful. It's lovely fresh as well though. So for the purpose of demonstrating, I'm going to use it like this today. I'm going to put space on.
And you could save all that for my compost.
To use it. We're going to use it in the rest of the meal. So, okay, lovely. Onigiri, skewers, koroke, slaw. Right. We're going to start, oh, the smashed cucumber. I love this. I have two, like in Israel, you get these kind of shape of cucumbers. They're quite small. They're not as big as the English cucumbers that I had in England, but you want about this quantity of cucumber, however you do it, whether it's a big one or this much. But we're going to take a rolling pin and we're going to smash it. So I'm going to get my rolling pin.
The smashing.
Smashing.
This is fun. Very therapeutic.
Oh my goodness. Never seen this.
So then it's smashed because it breaks down the cells. I think that's the idea of it. And you put it, then you cut it into kind of smaller pieces, chunks. And then it's going to really, really absorb the flavor amazingly well. And it's going to release its own cucumber flavor really well, more so than if you were to just slice it. So that's the idea with that. So I have here a bowl, and I'm not actually going to do the traditional way of dressing the smashed cucumber salad because that kind of dressing already went into our slaw. So this dressing is going to be really fresh, and it's just going to be lemon juice, lemon zest, and herbs. And it's going to have a lovely fresh taste. And I feel it's very nice for this kind of weather that I'm having, that we're having rather right here. I mean, I know you're all living in different places, but in Israel, it's pretty hot at the moment, isn't it, Clara? So I have here some coriander, or as I think the Americans call it, cilantro. And I'm going to slice it again. You see, is this in the way? About a handful of chopped coriander. I'm going to do some mint now. Same thing. Maybe a little less. But again, it's to your taste, always to your taste. And basil. This is very lovely. Yeah, it's my hands. Okay, I have here my lemon, which I'm going to zest first actually. Just 1 moment, someone's knocking on my door. Just check.
Oh, no. I think that's a lot of stuff. I think she's been very overambitious. Let her go till the hour's up.
We have some lemon zest. Why didn't it work?
I find it easier to put the zester on the plate. Let the, yeah, like that. That's
Sorry,
right.
I'm gonna put too much anything else. I think not too much, you know, just a little. Just remove the pips. We can like to crunch down on a lemon pip in our salad. We can help it and just squeeze. I'm not going to add salt to this salad because of the balance of the rest of the meal. There's salt everywhere and I feel that it's very fresh, but of course, to your taste, how you prefer to do it. So this we're going to mix together and let it, again, you could let it permeate in the fridge half an hour, an hour.
Do you ever use yuzu? You could get it in Israel now.
1 moment.
In case anybody doesn't know, yuzu is a Japanese lemon and it's amazing. And
How do you use it, Clara?
wherever you use lemon, but
Yeah.
it's strong.
I don't find locally grown yuzu very frequently in Israel. I do have the bottle of yuzu juice, but I feel like the freshness of a squeeze, freshly squeezed. Another thing is that if you have lime and you mix lime, clementine, and lemon together, kind of got that yuzu-esque aroma. It's very complex yuzu and I love it, but I love it when it's fresh, not when it's bottled. So that's why I'm just going for the Israeli lemon that I got from my greengrocer. So yeah, I'm going to just mix this salad right there. And that's a really lovely, herby, fresh, delicious salad. And if you put it in the refrigerator, it's lovely and cold. It's really good. Okay, so I'm just going to click down and then we're going to start assembling the bento boxes. And it's really exciting because I have 2 different types of boxes to show you. Okay. So the reason why I chose to show a bento is really because I think it's really a reflection of my own kind of lifestyle, because I'm pretty busy and I really want to eat very well and enjoy what I'm eating, and for it to be very wholesome and nutritious and healthy. And so therefore I find that this way of making packed lunches, bentos and so on and prepping at the beginning of the week is really, really nice. Okay. We have here the 1-person bento that I use on a just when it's just me going out and I want to have a packed lunch with me. And it has 2 layers and it's made of wood, which is really nice. It's a really cool design and it has like a divider. Can you see? But of course you can get so many different types of bento boxes made of different materials and with different designs. But essentially it's nice to have separate compartments. That's what I think is really important, because you're putting different textures together. And whilst you can get dividers that are made of silicone, or you can create them with lettuce leaves and stuff, I'm actually going to show you how to do that. Having some kind of dividing aspect, and also really, I really love the way this looks. So that enhances my meal, because the dish that you put your food in, it's like clothes for your food. That's the way I look at it. And then this one, this is really exciting. This is way more than for 1 person. It's for, if I go on a picnic, I will use this one. This is a traditional bento that would actually historically in Japan, they would take this to the theater and they would enjoy a very lovely meal in there that they would very carefully pack and carefully transport. But I will take this to the park to have a nice picnic with my husband. So it's a 2-person bento, it's pretty big. And I would like to show you how I fill each of these with these different things that I have and a few extra staples that are just there. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and fill and present it in a really appealing and appetizing way. So there we go. Does anyone have any comments or questions, anything at all?
The boxes don't hold together. It's not like they clip closed. Or...
So these ones do. That I wouldn't put, one of the things that we have to consider when packing a bento is not having foods that are overly liquidy because they will leak, because these are not really like hermetically sealed. So you can get bentos that are, but you have an elastic here that holds it in place. So it's pretty tight.
Okay.
Like loads of sauce. I use little pots to put sauce in that have a lid to then pour just as I'm about to eat. For this actually contains an insert, which we would take out to wash and so on. And when we fill it, then I would wrap it. You can get either beeswax wrap if you want to use something that's very eco, or you can use plastic wrap if whatever you find suitable for you. And then you can kind of pretty much slot it back in and place the lid on the top. And that is not particularly tight, so I definitely recommend using some kind of barrier on the insert.
Mm.
Well, this is a wood box, and the insert itself is APA-free plastic. So yeah, so we're going to fill it now, and I really I can't tell if you can see very clearly. Can you tell me if perhaps I'll put something behind so that it. Yes. Okay. I will use an upside down bowl to prop it up. Do you get a good view of the box? Yeah? So,
yeah.
Amazing. So one of the things that is very important with this bento and the presentation of it is that there's a variety of colors and a variety of textures and tastes, so that we have a full sensory experience, and it's not a boring or overwhelming kind of salt flavor all throughout. It's kind of like a journey of tastes. So we're going to put, I would just add how I would fill a bento. I'm going to put some of this lovely cucumber, smashed cucumber here. Now I also have I have some pre-prepared grains that I definitely put in here, and because we used brown rice inside the onigiri, I'm not going to repeat that. I'm going to put other things. So I have here I have here some pre-cooked red quinoa, which I think is I love the texture and the flavor of red quinoa. So I'm going to put that next to the cucumber salad. Next food.
When you transport it, the food doesn't mix together?
No, it does not, because you want to keep it upright. The traditional way of transporting this is to obviously put the lid and to put it inside a furoshiki, which is like a lovely woven cloth that you tie. It's not very difficult to do a furoshiki, but then you carry it like this, and you are kind of careful with it. But again, in order to really minimize any kind of spillage or mixing, I like to take the insert out once everything is filled, and then wrap it tightly, so that then and then nothing mixes at all. So got some red quinoa here. Now, bearing in mind that these are large portions, but this box, as I said, is for 2 people. So I'm also going to put some firm tofu. Just, I like this firm tofu, and we're just going to put, and I feel like it goes very well with the cucumber.
And this is raw?
Yeah, it's raw. It's just a very pure flavor. And it's contrasting the other things which are more salty, which are more saucy. And I'm going to put in here a little pot of, not shoyu, tamari, so that we can pour it over just before we're eating if we want to. So here I have some just soaked and well-washed wakame seaweed, which goes very nicely with cucumber and with tofu. There. That's its own little compartment. And once we pour the tamari on top as we're about to eat it, it's going to be absolutely lovely, and you can start to mix it as you want. But if you were to do that in advance, I think that the textures, the integrity of the textures wouldn't stay, and it would be all a bit of a kind of mushy mess, you know? So that's the reasoning for putting it separately and then assembling like this. I'm going to put in this large compartment here my skewers with the mushroom, right? And to make it beautiful, I'm going to select some leaves. I love this Selenova lettuce, and it's got this lovely curly edge. It's so aesthetic. So I'm just going to place it underneath. Like this. And next to here, I'm going to put, well, I could put an umeboshi if I wanted to, or I could put it here. So in this compartment here, typically when you're doing a Japanese meal setting, your rice meal will be on the left, on the bottom left. So I'm going to stick with that. And I'm going to put my onigiri rice balls here.
Is there a reason for the bottom left?
Yes, because when we are eating a typical Japanese meal setting, the most important dish is always the rice. It's the gohan, which in itself means meal. When we say gohan, it means rice, but it also means meal. There's no meal without rice. And so this is the prime position. And that's where it will be there. So yeah, I'm going to separate that with some lettuce again. Lovely lettuce. I love this stuff. Like this. Tuck it underneath. We're going to put our slaw up here. I'm going to fill that compartment with this lovely crunchy, flavoursome slaw that's been very nicely seasoned. It's got so much flavor with the tamari, with the mirin, with the sesame, and yeah. So, and the garlic and ginger, I can smell that. It's incredible. Love it. Okay. I'm going to reserve this corner right here for a little sweet dessert. But I did not actually make anything, and I think it's very nice to not always have all processed things. So very typically, I'm just going to put a couple of slices of this lovely orange that I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to put some grapes because they're really in season right now and they're tasting wonderful. They're in my refrigerator. I'll add them in a minute. And here, I'm going to add my pickle. So, this is the typical pickled daikon, and I have made the recipe so that you can also make it, but it's essentially pickled with rice vinegar, mirin, and kombu. Again, it's very, very tasty, and typically in a Japanese meal, you'll always have at least one pickle. So I actually like two. I like this, and I like the umeboshi. Umeboshi is only pickled with salt. This is pickled with vinegar as well, so I feel like it's a nice contrast. So we're going to put that in here. And because there's two people, I'm going to go ahead and put this. So you see like the way that the red color of the dish itself is really bringing out the green and the different types of components. And then the yellow in the middle It's all lovely. I'm going to dress it with some micro herbs. I'm going to get myself some chopsticks. Bit just like that. And of course, we mustn't forget our koroke, which I'm going to put next to the onigiri, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here I'm going to place some more fruit. There's another actual fruit that's really in season, which I think I want to put in, but I don't know the English word for it. Maybe you can help me clarify. What do you call it? Shesek.
I think
Forgot. Loquat or kumquat?
Okay.
I forgot.
It's a little baby orange, isn't it?
Loquat.
Loquat. I love loquat. And because it's so in season right now, it's literally growing in the garden on the trees outside. I'm going to put it in because it's always good to have things that are seasonal. So,
boy, where I live, grapes are not yet in, and the shesek is finished.
Melons are really good now. Oh, I have, oh, what is it called? Those berries that I have, mulberry. They're wonderful.
They're just about finished here. Sorry.
And do you know about mulberry leaves?
No,
They do a good tea.
I had no idea. Wow.
Yeah, you prepare a tea with it, and now it's like a new idea instead of matcha tea for people who don't want to be excited about the drink they after the drink they had. You can make a mulberry leaf tea. It has really this green color all over, and it looks it's powdered. And the point is, it is helping to digest carbohydrates. Also, it's really it's what some people need, you know, to get a little bit of help for the spleen. This is what these mulberry leaves do. Do you know this?
Didn't know this, but I'm not going to get the powder. I'll get it from my tree.
Yeah, you can, sure enough, you can use it without mashing it, since we talk about mash.
That sounds very good. We have about 2-3 minutes left. So
I have a bento box in this way. Can you have a look? This is a different bento box.
I think you have an Indian tiffin. That's what that one is.
Ah, okay. But it's made in China or it's made in Japan?
Right, right. Beautiful. So
Here's a sample. Oh, sorry. Here's a sample of the mulberry to do the like a green tea matcha.
Huh.
Oh yeah, here it is. Right.
Yeah.
Did you do you like it? The taste?
I haven't opened it up yet.
Ah, interesting.
I'm looking forward to it.
Mhm.
And by the way, I just made your smashed cucumber salad. I was cooking while you were cooking.
Oh, brilliant.
This is the final for this, the final shot for this. Can you see it
Right.
clearly?
Can you get that
Angle.
as close as you can to the camera, because it's lovely, but it's kind of little.
Renata, are you going to take a picture?
Wow, very nice.
And so this is a lovely picnic, and also we can put a little pot of soy sauce, shoyu, or tamari if you want, or you can even make a ponzu, which is tamari mixed with a little bit of citrus juice, to pour over this section right here if you wanted to have that, and maybe even dip the onigiri. So this is like your nice kind of sharing box. And since we don't have so much time, I'm going to hurry on and show the single portion, but it's very similar, but it's just in a different format. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it and not talk so much. But essentially, I will move this one over here. I have 2 layers. I'm going to put different grains here. I've got my red quinoa. I'm also going to put green buckwheat. I love green buckwheat. And I very simply cooked it, just boil to absorption. That's how I steam it, I suppose.
It's amazing how quiet the microphone is.
I'm going to put my tofu with this. You can really just do it how you feel. Essentially, it's about creating something that looks beautiful. So I've got different colors and I've got different textures that appeal to me, because we have the red quinoa and the kind of green buckwheat and the salad, the slaw there. I'm going to put, okay, in the top layer, oh, sorry, here we go. My smashed cucumber, I'm also going to put on top of here, over the buckwheat. And here, I have some arame seaweed. I can't see. I have here some wakame and some arame. And the arame has a much gentler taste, if any, really doesn't have so much taste, but it's very, very beneficial in its trace minerals. So I like to eat it and put it in, and it has an interesting texture and aspect to it. So arame, wakame. Okay. Then my top layer. My shiitake, oyster skewer. Oh, it doesn't fit. I'll probably just take off the slight end of it. It's a millimeter. There we go. I will put the mushroom skewer here, and I will put the onigiri here. Separate it with some green. And I'm going to place next to this one of the lovely umeboshi here. And that's pretty much it. For that one, we're going to put some microgreens here. You could, of course, I would also, do I have the time to slice a nice radish with a nice red pink skin and place it? Yeah?
No, let's pretend.
Okay, let's pretend we have a beautiful radiant magenta color radish that's been thinly sliced and placed here for some contrast.
Can you show it at an angle?
Yes, of course.
There we go.
Personally, I really don't mind if my orange is going to be touching my food. So I'm going to put it here. I think it's a nice contrast of color, pop of color as well. So like this. And we can place the lid. And the band. That's that. So we have here, this is a lunch to go, very nice for one person, and it's a very sustaining and filling lunch. And this is your picnic box, or very, very hungry box.
Beautiful, Pascale.
Yeah, I hope that was enjoyable for everyone and informative. And if you have any questions, I welcome them and would love to answer as best as I can.
There are a couple of us at least who have asked, do you give classes online? That was awesome. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. I don't actually give classes online yet, but I'm considering it, and I'm playing with the idea. So if I see that there's interest, then you're more than welcome to get in touch with me and tell me that, and then I might actually do that. But I do give a lot of in-person classes in Israel. Yeah.
So Ellen, you have to come here.
That'd be nice. Been there once.
I will also like to mention that on the 25th of June, we'll have our monthly cooking. We call it a cooking clutch, and we're going to surely make all of, or as many of your recipes as we can. Of course, you're welcome. If you could join us, that would be even more special. Clara will be in touch with you. And it remains only for me to thank you. You've done a wonderful job, and I'm so pleased.
Thank you so very much. It's been such a pleasure and quite frankly an honor to be presenting to you. And it's a lovely community to connect with. So thank you very much.